Thomas. Greg Bubalo joins us now. He is with Becker Law Office. I'm working on that last name. It's a beautiful last name. I'm assuming Italian? Bubalo?
Actually, it's Croatian.
Oh, is it Croatian?
Yes, but you've only got 50,000 chances, don't worry. And it's not easy. It's not easy, really.
Well, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's good to see you, John.
Today we have really good information, and I think this is critical to know because for years now, for over 30 years, Becker Law Office has been fighting for you, and if you happen to be involved in an accident, and specifically we're going to focus on drunk driving accidents, if you're involved, then you certainly should give Becker Law Office a call. But I think a lot of the process really involves education. So you use this time to come on and inform people and really discourage drinking and driving, and I know how serious you are about that, Greg. You've seen some of the results.
Well, we deal with tragic events every day, and so you know, you're just human and you see these things and you want to try to get information out there to avoid them and do things to avoid them. So, you know, especially with a holiday coming up and people are having a good time and it's going to be fun in the sun, but they sometimes forget where they are and what they're doing and the best way to do it. So it happens that in 2017 at least 11 people died in Kentucky in Memorial Day alone.
There we go. There's all those stats up on there, yes.
And so we just gave this 2017 as an example of how many people are really injured and how many people are injured related to holidays. And that's what drove the Becker Law Office to contribute to Ride Safe Kentucky, which we gave $10,000, and a lot of businesses are giving to give away free Lyft rides because it's so easy to avoid this danger just by, you know, using an app or, you know, calling a cab.
See, I love that partnership because you guys, as I've said before, you've seen the tragic results when a drunk driving accident happens. So therefore, you know, you are all in on partnering up with Lyft and Uber and encouraging people and coming on the air and saying, hey, and for youngsters as well. You and I were talking about how there seems to be this awareness campaign has really seemed to work. It seems now more people are paying attention, and if they've had a few drinks, they jump in an Uber, they jump in a Lyft. That has to be encouraging for you.
Oh, yeah, it really is. And you know, the other thing is it's so tricky to really know how much you've had and what's the legal limit.
Let's talk about that.
And so, you know, what we do is you have to look at your body weight, the amount you drink, what you drink, the alcohol content. And we've got a couple of examples. For instance, there are a lot of calculators, believe it or not, online that you can calculate your BAC or your alcohol content. And the first example is for a 180-pound male over 3 hours.
So there's a 3-hour period.
3-hour period, and they're drinking wine. Of course, if you're drinking hard liquor, it's going to be a little bit more there, but your BAC is below the limit, 0.04% for that period. But switching over to somebody with a little bit different weight and a little different sex, which makes a big difference, female, 150 pounds, the same amount of wine, they're over the legal limit.
Wow.
So it's a combination of weight and how long you have been drinking over a 3-hour period, what food you've had. It's just hard to predict whether you're really going to break that limit. So, you know, you really want to be safe, and if you're drinking, you know, overestimate what it's going to do to you. Well, for me, it just so happens with a 230-pound male, I'm 6'3", I'm a monster. So for me, you know, 4 drinks may not be as much as for a 150-pound female.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, these calculations, but I'm curious, as far as you're talking about time, you're talking about weight, and so for people to know this is one thing. I said this, but it sounds, and you said it, you're right, it's unrealistic. You know, the best advice to give is to say, you know, don't drink and drive at all, even if you have one, and you said, yeah, that's the smartest thing to do, but it's also, if we're going to be realistic, just know when you're getting close to impairing yourself, right? So this is more realistic. Say, show me if I can have 1 or 2 in a 3-hour period, and I'll be okay. So this, I think, is really good information because, yeah, to tell everyone, don't drink at all. That's a tough one there. We'd have nothing but Ubers and Lyfts on the road, right?
No, but let's have a good time, and if you do get to the limit to the point where you feel like you're being impaired, don't take a chance.
Right.
And, we just had a very tragic case that we filed on behalf of a family of 5, the Bass family, who got killed in, I-75. A drunk driver was going down the wrong way on I-75, and his alcohol limit was 0.3, which is over 3 times the limit. So, and you can imagine going down the wrong way on I-75. He passed 9 different cars before he finally ran into this unfortunate family.
See, how sad is that? That picture, that is a beautiful family. That can be your neighbors, that can be loved ones. I mean, no one is immune to this. So on the other side of the coin, if you are a victim of a drunk driver, whether it's a fender bender or a serious accident, hopefully not, knock on wood, but what's the first thing you should do if you get out of a car and you realize that the other driver is impaired?
Well, I think, the first thing you should do, of course, is make sure you are safe and you are not injured, because it's very hard to determine whether you're injured.
You're in shock.
You're in shock, exactly. I think last time I was on your show, I described being in a traffic accident myself. And basically, when I crawled out of the window, I wasn't really certain whether I was competent to judge whether I was injured or not. And so sometimes you're not the best judge of whether you're injured. But if you feel like you're okay and you're out of the line of traffic and everybody else is safe, or as safe as they can be, then of course the first thing you want to do is call 911 if someone's injured. The second is call the police, because the police will make the report and try to determine fault and determine who was really the cause of that accident. And everybody has a phone. You can pull out a phone and take pictures. That's going to help if you're in an accident. The other thing is to look around you, see who's there, and if there are some witnesses, go up to and talk to them if you're able to, or have somebody else talk to them. Fortunately, when I was in an accident, someone was kind enough to take down some names, and they were witnesses who witnessed that the other car went through the red light. I didn't, and I was T-boned. So, all those things are very helpful. Of course, you need to call your insurance company right away if you're able to. All those things will help. And then still, if your no-fault coverage isn't going to cover your basic medicals all the time, call us. The call is free. You're not going to pay a dime, and we'll lead you in the right direction. We may say you don't need us really, but call us if you have a question, and it's free.
And there's the information. Greg Bubalo, I really appreciate you coming on. And really, on behalf of the community, thank you for the information, because I like the fact that you could easily come on and talk about your practice, but you really focused on, hey, let's slow down this drunk driving problem we had, drinking and driving. And that information, I think, is critical. So thank you so much.
Well, John, good to see you again.
Good to see you again as well. All right. Coming up here, yes, it is a holiday weekend. You maybe have all of these plans. You got to have the energy to fulfill those plans. So get ready, because Marilyn Kahneman's coming on. She's with the Physician Center for Beauty. She is the optimal aging specialist. Meet you on the other side. Wave 3 listens live.
Many men and women are feeling tired, moody, having difficulty sleeping, gaining weight, and have no desire for intimacy or exercise.
You'll be happy to learn there's an exciting natural solution available. BioT. These symptoms can be caused by reduced levels of hormones that occur as we age.
BioT offers a natural solution for men and women to safely and accurately balance hormone levels using tiny cardio-activated pellets.
To learn more, call Physician Center for Beauty, 897-7546.
We risk our own money on your case. We finance your case. We go ahead and pay the experts that you need. We pay for the court reporters. We pay the filing fees and risk our own money on your case. That's why we're truly partners with you. When you call us, it's free. You're not going to pay a dime, and you're not going to pay a dime until we recover money for you.
Call Becker Law. Just dial freeze.